Hello, students. Very good evening and a warm welcome to all of you. Welcome to yet another session on IELTS Writing Task 1. But today, before we move on, I have a request to make. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Learning portal. You can like, share, and subscribe this page because if you do that, of course, we can deliver better. We would love to see your responses. In fact, if there is any particular visual input that you want us to answer or help you with, just let us know in the comment section, because that is how we can work better for the students to get a higher band score or their desired band score. So it can be for anything, right? So you can ask us any question related to listening, reading, writing, speaking. So Learning is not just for IELTS, it's also for spoken English. It's for all the other competitive exams like TOEFL, Duolingo. So please, you should always feel free to ask us questions related to them. Now, let's begin with our session today. And this session is on IELTS Writing Task 1 for maps. Now, we know most of you face a lot of issues when it comes to writing task 1. Some of you think, ma'am, what should we write where? Or what are the different type of visuals? So let's understand that first. Now, in IELTS, we can get any one out of these 7 questions or 7 visual inputs: a bar graph, a table, a process depicted through a diagram, the step-by-step process, line graph, map, the pie chart, and the multiple graphs. So multiple graphs can be like a combination, right? A bar graph and a line graph together, or it can be a line graph with a pie chart. So we can expect anything there. Now, before we move on, let's lay emphasis and focus on maps for today. So that's the star of our class for today. So when we talk about maps, why are they difficult for most of the students? Because most of us, we do not know how to answer the task well to get our desired band score. So when it comes to maps, always remember that for us, the major 4 criteria are again the same: task achievement, coherence and cohesion, lexical resources, and grammar range and accuracy. Now, first, let's come to task achievement. Keep in mind, today I will discuss only maps, and according to maps, we must cover all the task requirement. So you must answer in the most appropriate length. We will try to write our response in roughly, let's say, 170 to 190 words, right? We will not go anywhere beyond this limit. Why? Because we do not have so much of time to invest, right? We have to invest only 20 minutes on writing task 1. So we have to be smart, we have to be quick and answer all the requirements in the visual input. Then ensure the minimum word length, as I said, 170 to 190 words. Present a clear overview. Now, if we do not give the overview in maps, because some of the students, they think that, ma'am, when it comes to maps, why will I write an overview? Overview is easy to give about the striking features when it comes to a bar graph or any other visual input. But what is there in a map? Of course, there is an overview paragraph in case of maps also, because whenever we look at maps, they talk about the changes with time. So what are the changes that we see? What are the evident changes that we see? So that has to be mentioned within 2 sentences in an overview paragraph. After this, we should always present a clear overview, and we should have clarity in whatever we write. if we try to present our ideas clearly and highlight the key features, maybe something is a dominant change, an evident change in a visual input, we must address that. We can't ignore these important points. After this, we come to coherence and cohesion. Now, coherence and cohesion, they stand for the requirement of the correct number of paragraphs. Now, here we always recommend a minimum of 4 paragraphs. You may write a fifth one if there are 3 visual inputs in maps, like if there are 3 maps. So you may write 3 paragraphs. Otherwise, we can stick to the 4 paragraph structure, right? Then organize the information logically into paragraphs. So automatically, we have to mention each and every paragraph or, the visual input, the map. We must give that in a separate paragraph. It should not happen that if there are, 2 maps given to you, you will just club that and put that together in one paragraph itself. No, we must individually allocate them different paragraphs to give better details, structured details. Then use cohesive devices effectively. So I always insist that we should use however, moreover, also, although, furthermore, similarly, on the contrary, we must use such devices to have better connectivity in our answers. After this comes the lexical resource. Now, when we talk about the lexical resource, you must use higher vocabulary words. Instead of being repetitive, we can use synonyms, we can use alternate vocabulary words and mention the same details. Then the vocabulary should appropriately give the correct meaning. It should not happen that I use a very nice high vocabulary word, but it has been used in an incorrect place, or maybe it is not discussing the point, it is just confusing that idea, right? Use collocations. We can use collocations. Now, in this report also, the one that I'll read for you, you will find different type of collocations being used to demonstrate or to notify the points. And after that, be particular about spellings, right? Because if we make spelling errors, we again lose our marks. After this, when we come to grammar, of course, we should always observe the timeline, guys. If we do not observe the timeline as the first feature in any visual input, we are bound to make a mistake on the basis of grammar, right? So we lose a big chunk from our marks because of this issue. Then comes the use of a range of sentences. So, of course, we recommend you the use of complex sentences, the use of passive or active voice, compound sentences when you write a report. So now, let's quickly move on to the structure. Now, see, in the examination, when it comes to a map question, you may get 2 maps together. Maybe one for past, one for present, maybe one for present, one for future, or it can be 3 maps also, right? They may give you 3 maps related to past, present, and future, maybe all 3 related to past. So how should we write a report? So first of all, remember that when we'll write a report, we'll write down the first paragraph, which we call as the introduction, right? And in this paragraph, we must notify whatever is given to us. So the given diagram or the given maps, they illustrate or they depict the changes in so and so place, whichever the map, whichever place the map is related to, right? If there's a year mentioned, mention the year. Is it 1980, 2002, 2013, 2023? Whatever the time is given, you must notify that as well. After this, we move on to the second paragraph, which is the most crucial one, the overview. So we must give an overview paragraph in a map question also. Now, when we write the overview for a map, we will not just mainly focus on a single map, because see, you never get one map, you get at least two maps or three maps. Now, out of these two maps, what is the most dominating thing? What is the most evident feature? That is what you need to notify. After this, when we move on to the third paragraph, we will give details for the first map here, right? And then the details for the second map should be given in the fourth paragraph. That's it, right? So if we just try to write down the details correctly, if we are giving the content in this type of a structured way, nobody can stop you to get a higher band score. You can easily achieve an 8 to 8.5 or 9 in your band score, right? So I hope that the structure is clear. And of course, when we come to the word length, we must write our report in at least how many words? We must write it in 170 to 190 words. Maximum can be 200. But we should not just stick to 150. Never write 145 and say that, ma'am, my job was done. No, you can never get enough marks for your task achievement, right? Now, let's move on and have a look at the linkers that I always recommend, right? So in order to have a better link in your answers, you need to, address the points, correlate them with the correct linkers. So whenever we are on a similar note, similar page, we try to use linkers such as moreover, similarly, likewise, also, right? And we can say furthermore. Let me reduce the size. So we can say also, we can say furthermore, right? Additionally, correct? Whenever we give a contradiction, then in that case, we can say, however, on the contrary, on the other hand, conversely, right? So whenever we have the opposite side, then this is the correct linker that we must use. Now, some students, they use incorrect linkers and then they wonder, why do we lose our marks, right? Then take care of your spellings and punctuation. Take care of your grammar. Now, when I talk about grammar, we must be careful about the tenses in the first place. If we are using incorrect tenses, especially when it comes to maps, students forget to observe the timeline. That is the place where they make blunders, right? And cover all the requirements of the task. Do not leave any point unanswered. Let's have a look at this question, everyone. The maps below show the university campus at present and in the future. After some planned changes, summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and main comparisons where relevant. So we know that, all right, this visual is related to the present, and this one is related to future. So we'll be using present tense and future tense, something very simple and basic to understand. So the first observation is the timeline. What else do we observe here? Of course, we can see that in the past, there was more greenery, isn't it? We can see there are more trees here. However, in future, we do not see that much of greener area, right? That's an observation. So how should we start the report? So in the first paragraph, we simply have to notify what is given to us, what is the visual input that is given to us, and then what is the timeline. That is something which we must address. So the given maps illustrate the current layout of a university campus and the scheduled changes in the coming years, right? So we have very clearly mentioned that this is related to the coming years, and they illustrate the current layout, present tense and future. And I have not mentioned for the year 2023, right? We don't have to say that. It is well understood, correct? And this is related to a university campus. Simple and easy. Now, after this, we must see the striking features. So what are the major features here? What is the main thing that we observe here? Anyone who would like to give me any hint in the chat box? So here the major striking feature for us is the greenery, isn't it? Earlier there was a lot of greenery, but now it has actually reduced with time, correct? So how should we notify this point? This is a very evident point for me, and I would like to state that in the overview. So overall, it is certain that there are going to be a lot of changes. However, the planned expansions would replace most of the open green area with concrete structures, right? This is what we see. This is what we observe, that the greenery is completely, I won't say eliminated here, I would say reduced, right? So the choice of words also has to be correct. If I say eliminated in future, that will be incorrect. You'll make a blunder again. We can see that there are some green lands, right? And of course, there are more concrete structures in future, right? More structural development. Now, how do we notify the points for the visual input for the present year and for the future prognostications? How do we talk about them? So in the third paragraph, so for the third paragraph, we will give the details for this map. And in the fourth paragraph, we'll give the details from this map, right? The changes with time. So our job becomes easier and we can notify all the key features. Now, let's read the third and the fourth paragraph. So the third paragraph is related to this map. The campus is currently split in half by an east-west road, right? The eastern portion of the northern half is home to a car park, while the majority of the region is undeveloped and covered with forests. The biochemistry department is located in the area west of the walkway in the southern half. And the biotechnology and genetics department are located in the eastern half. There is a lab in each of these zones. So let's mark that. What do we see? Where is the biochemistry building? The biochemistry building is mentioned here. And the biotechnology building was mentioned here in the eastern half, right? So it is very logical. See, we are already given a compass. So it is easy to follow this compass information. The eastern wing, the western wing, the northern half, whatever changes take place here, we can talk about it as the northern half, the southern half of the map, right? South, east changes. We can also say the southern, western changes. You know, we can talk about the areas like this. Instead of making it very simple and basic, on the right we say, on the left we say, down below, this is what is happening. So it sounds very, basic when it comes to the English. Then we move on to the fourth paragraph. And in the fourth paragraph, we'll discuss this visual input, right? We'll discuss this map, the university campus in the future. So the map of the future indicates that the parking lot in the eastern half will be designated as the student parking lot. And a new parking lot will be constructed in the southwest corner of the campus for the staff. So we have south, west, staff parking. A new bioimaging department will be added to the left of the footpath towards the north. Lastly, a new genetics building will be constructed along with the expansion of the biotechnology and biochemistry departments, and the east-west road will no longer exist. Isn't it? If we look at the east-west road, which was here in the past, it no longer exists. We talked about the footpath, how it connects both the wings, right? Now, when we look at this visual input, we have understood how we are going to give the content, right? We'll give the content of the first map easily in the third paragraph, and the second map very easily in the fourth paragraph, right? So the allocation is very clear to us. But how many of us, we observed the use of linkers here? So while writing the report, as we insist that we must incorporate linkers, see the way we have used lastly. When we are giving the last point, we have easily connected it by saying lastly, instead of saying north and a new genetic building. Why to simplify the sentences, right? We can say lastly, a new genetic building will be constructed. Now, will be constructed. We must check that while writing the report, have I given the correct tenses here? So the second visual input, or should I say the fourth paragraph, according to the visual input, must have future tense. Let's check this. The map of the future indicates that the parking lot in the northern half will be designed or designated as the student parking lot, and a new parking lot will be constructed in the northern corner of the campus for the staff. A new bioimaging department will be added to the left of the footpath. Lastly, a new genetics building will be constructed, right? So the correct use of tenses is extremely important. Let's look at the third paragraph also. Did we make any mistake here? So the campus is present tense, right? Now see here, we are going to use present simple or simple present tense, one and the same thing. So the campus is currently split in half by an east-west road. The eastern portion of the northern half is home to a car park. Again, see, simple present tense. While the majority of the region is undeveloped and covered with forests, the biochemistry department is located in the area west of the walkway in the southern half, and the biotechnology genetics department are located in the eastern half. There is a lab in each of these zones, right? So when it comes to, a map question, let me tell you, it is not at all that difficult. Now here, I may have received instead of 2, maybe 3 maps, right? So if you get 3 maps, it will be easier for you because you will give the overview for all 3 years. What is the major striking feature in the overview, right? And after that, when we write the maps, it is completely your choice. You can give the first map in the third paragraph, the second map in the fourth paragraph, and if there is a third map, you can put that in the fifth one, right? Or you may give your mixed view on these 2 maps in the third paragraph, and then whichever extra visual input is given to you, that can come in the fourth one. But remember, we will never do this, that we put all the map details together in a third paragraph and say that, okay, my job is done. I have received or I've achieved the length of 170 words. No, you will lose your marks on the basis of correct structure for a report, right? I hope that this class will help you all to handle maps much better from now on. So please, again, I would like to request all of you to subscribe, share, and like the Learning page. We have courses for all different requirements for English, not just for students, but even for working professionals when it comes to IELTS speaking, when it comes to creative writing, or even correct email writing. Most of us, we need help with that, right? So you can brush up your skills when it comes to any kind of English requirement. So join us for our next live streaming session this coming Wednesday, day after tomorrow. It'll be a very nice and a wonderful session if all of you try to post your ideas and questions, of course, in the chat option on YouTube. So that's all for today. Again, subscribe, like, and do ask us more questions. We would love to see your questions in the comment section, that we would like some help with listening, reading, writing, what type of questions. We would love to help you with that. So have a wonderful day ahead. Bye-bye. See you all.